Yes.
So any attempt to introduce a text must do two things. One is that it must make the reader sensitive to the context in which the text has been composed. Secondly, the context in which the text is being introduced. In these two respects, I think Arundhati Ray's introduction to Dr.B.R. Ambedkar's Annihilation of Caste falls short of expectation. As we know very well that the text Annihilation of Caste was written in 1936 in response to an invitation from an organization called Jat Paat Torak Mandal of Lahore. And this text has achieved status of a classic, almost comparable to that of Marx and Engels' Communist Manifesto. As Communist Manifesto is crucial to the socialist communist movements, Dr. Ambedkar's text Annihilation of Caste is crucial to the project of Annihilation of Caste. So therefore it's a very serious politico-ideological text, and it must be introduced with seriousness and responsibility. The text in fact addresses certain crucial questions, okay, pertaining to the caste system, because caste is the historical specific. The first thing which the text in fact highlights is that caste is the historical specificity of Indian society. If you do not understand caste, you will not be able to understand the nature of Indian society, the nature of change in Indian society. So therefore caste is the most crucial feature of or characteristic of Indian society. And historically, because of the caste system, okay, all the inadequacies, limitations that Indian society has seen, even the fact that India was invaded by foreigners several times, okay, was largely because of the caste system. That means caste system in fact contributes to some kind of organic weakness of Indian society. In India could not evolve into a full-fledged society. There is no possibility of sense of community and solidarity in India, largely because of caste system. Because caste in fact divides the society. It's not just division of labor as it is understood by a large majority of people, but it's in fact division of laborers. That's, I think, signal contribution of Ambedkar to the understanding of caste system. So caste is a stratificatory, hierarchical social system, which in fact preempts any solidarity and sense of community in India. So unless we address this issue, we would not be able to in fact create a sense of community. So that's what makes Ambedkar quite distinct from that of the mainstream nationalist movement of 1930s. That's the Gandhian nationalist movement by and large. Okay, the Indian nationalist movement, the dominant strand in the Indian nationalist movement, did not address the caste question. So Ambedkar is posing a challenge to not only the nationalist movement but also the socialists and communists, that unless you address the caste system, how would you go about building up a sense of nation? Okay, because the social question is primary. Unless the social question is addressed, you will not be able to address the political question. So therefore there is a analytical methodological difference, very serious difference that Ambedkar had with the other forms of social and political mobilization, that is the nationalist mobilization and also the socialist communist mobilization. And therefore this text, okay, needs to be studied with all seriousness and responsibility. So this text, to put it in a nutshell, in fact draws our attention to the fact that caste is the historical particularity of India. Caste in fact has acted as an hindrance to the social progress and sense of cohesion and solidarity in Indian society. Thirdly, caste is not just division of labor but also division of laborers. Fourthly, you would not be able to create a nation on the basis of caste. So only when we annihilate caste, only when it destroy caste, it would be possible to create a sense of nation in this country. That's, I think, a very important issue that Ambedkar was raising. In fact, is an important challenge to the attempts at nation building in India. To go into the details, okay. In fact, it's unfortunate that not just Arundhati Roy, but a lot of other scholars also, whenever they try to analyze and discuss Ambedkar, they generally bring in Gandhi. But to this text, okay, the text of Annihilation of Caste, Gandhi is just a footnote. In fact, it's a reflection on the generosity of Ambedkar that he included Gandhi's brief review in the Harijan. We could simply have ignored it, because Gandhi has not, to my mind, raised any substantial critical, methodological, analytical issues in this review. It is a brief review. And the distinction which he makes between Varna and caste in this brief review is also not tenable, because Varna is a mummified issue. As caste developed and proliferated, in fact, Varna becomes just a general abstract kind of framework, but it doesn't have much of life of its own. So therefore, the central issue is caste, and caste is hereditary. By birth, your fate is decided, your destiny in life, the mission in life is decided. Therefore, it impinges on it. In fact, becomes hindrance to the freedom of individual, okay, and also the process of making of nation. So these are the crucial issues which Ambedkar was raising. So therefore, I think by bringing in Gandhi, one is only trying to divert the issue rather than address the issue that Ambedkar is raising. Two methodological issues must be pointed out here. That one is that the text, Annihilation of Caste, to my mind, is an open text. Open texts are those which, in fact, invite people to participate in. One can interrogate, one can have a dialogue with the text. Secondly, because of the very fact that Ambedkar was analyzing the question of caste, and in Ambedkar's perspective, caste was not a rigid, static structure; it was a dynamic, changing structure. So, therefore, a changing reality needs to be addressed in an open manner. Okay. Therefore, both in terms of the thematic and problematic, for Ambedkar, caste was an issue which was open and expandable. Okay, Ambedkar was not saying that whatever he was stating in the text, Annihilation of Caste, was final word. He was only trying to make a beginning in the text, in that sense that it's an open text. Okay, as caste changes its character, it's necessary to have renewed efforts at addressing and inquiring into the caste. So therefore, the importance of the text is a methodological, analytical importance. Okay, Ambedkar's methodology has to be taken seriously. Second important issue is that Ambedkar, in fact, is hitting at the very basis of caste. Ambedkar says that caste is central to Brahmanism, Brahminical Hinduism. Okay, and the basis of caste is the Shastras. Shastras, in fact, render ideological legitimacy to the caste and caste system. Unless we demolish the ideological textual basis of caste, we would not be able to, in fact, attempt annihilation of caste. Therefore, Shastras need to be critically examined and demolished. Okay, which is the textual basis of Brahminical Hinduism. So therefore, Hinduism, which supports caste system, has to be demolished, and subsequently, it's a logical consequence of that is that he embraced Buddhism, because he didn't see any future in Hinduism, Brahminical Hinduism. Second important thing to my mind is that Ambedkar in this text is also raising the issue of the relationship between caste system and state. So when he discusses Peshwa's intervention into the lower castes imitating the Brahminical practices, Ambedkar is in fact drawing our attention to important crucial issues which are relevant today much more significantly than in 1930s. That is, there is an attempt on the part of the lower caste to imitate the upper caste practices, which sociologists like M.N. Srinivasulu called Sanskritization. That means analytically, Dr. Ambedkar is drawing our attention to the possibility of Brahminism within the subaltern Dalit Shudra caste. Okay, so that is the kind of ideological power of Brahminism, informed by, legitimized by Shastras. So therefore, we have to be vigilant to that. That's how Hinduism, in fact, has protected itself and proliferated. Second important issue that has drawn our attention to this is the importance of state. State plays a very important role in the sustenance of caste system. So caste system has changed its form, but the content of the logic of caste, in fact, continues to exist and prolong the subsequent period. I mean, the point which has not been captured by M.N. Srinivas. For M.N. Srinivas, Sanskritization and its relation to the state is not at all paid attention to. For him, it's basically a social cultural kind of process. So Ambedkar's thinking on the question of caste is a deeply political question. Since state and Brahminical religion are involved in the continuation and persistence of caste, okay. Therefore, the project of annihilation of caste, the anti-caste project, would essentially be a political project, but a political project which in fact is intertwined with socio-cultural, ideological kind of counter hegemonic process. Okay, so therefore, caste becomes central to the project of social transformation in India. That's the point which is trying to draw our attention to. Any attempt to change the society, any attempt at social transformation without proper attention to the question of caste would be only superficial kind of attempt. It would only lead to superficial kind of change. But a fundamental social transformation in India is possible only when we address the question of caste. But this is the point which he subsequently re-emphasizes in his last speech to the Constituent Assembly, where he says that with this constitution we are entering into life of contradictions. The contradiction between the political equality, because constitution promises legal political equality. That is one man, one vote, one value. But in the social domain, in fact, individuals have different values. Okay, and by and large because of caste system. So therefore, there is a tension between social economic inequality, and political legal equality. And if we do not resolve this contradiction, okay, Ambedkar would say that Indian democracy will be in peril. So therefore, there is a continuity of thought process from annihilation of caste to the subsequent period, which in fact culminated in Buddhism. So therefore, I think we need to analyze this text in that kind of historical trajectory. So firstly, we can analyze the text within the trajectory of within the process of the intellectual political development of Ambedkar's thought, one. Secondly, much more significantly, the importance of this text has to be seen in relation to the anti-caste struggles in India historically, from Buddhism to Bhakti movement to subsequently Phule and Ambedkar's struggles against caste system. Instead, many scholars in fact try to reduce the importance of text to Ambedkar versus Gandhi. That is, I think, being extremely unfair, and also it does not help us in understanding the potentiality of the text. Okay. So firstly, the text is a very crucial text within the intellectual elaboration of Ambedkar's thought. Secondly, the text has to be, to appreciate it properly, both in historical terms and also in methodological terms. We need to locate this text in the larger history of anti-caste struggles. So in Ambedkar's text, in fact, we see crystallization of anti-caste thinking, okay, and also an attempt to elaborate a strategy at counter anti-caste, counter hegemonic strategy and struggles. Therefore, this text is very, very important. I think any attempt to introduce the text must in fact capture the centrality of concerns, okay, both methodological and also politico-ideological. That's one. Secondly, the text assumes significance to my mind because we are living in a time where there is the rise of Hindutva, okay, which is political, Brahminical Hinduism. Okay, that is one. Secondly, we are in a context where, in spite of militant peasant and rural struggles, the left has not yet succeeded in addressing the caste question. So Hindutva is camouflaging the caste and trying to reassert the importance of Brahminism, okay, in the form of political Hinduism. Okay, that's one. Secondly, the failure on the part of the radical left to address the caste question. So therefore, this is the context in which, in fact, we are discussing Baba Sahib Ambedkar's Annihilation of Caste. Therefore, there is a deeper political significance to this text. And as Ambedkar very quite rightly said, you cannot build a nation and you cannot think of a radical, comprehensive social transformation in India unless we address the question of caste. So none of these two projects try to address this question. In fact, they camouflage the question. Therefore, it's important to examine this text, and the text should guide a radical grassroots anti-caste, Dalit, Bahujan struggles in India. This is the context in which we need to appreciate Dr. Ambedkar's Annihilation of Caste, which to my mind, this particular introduction by Arundhati in fact fails to do. It's a major failure.